back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I thank you for your love and for your support. If you are new to the channel, you are highly and very welcome. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button. I would appreciate if you hit on the like button. It actually takes nothing for you to just do that, to like support my YouTube channel. So that's just the essence. Okay guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew this off shoulder top, so you can see the picture up there on the thumbnail. So that's what we are going to learn. So this top, you can actually adapt it however you want to. You can make it into a fuller bodice, you can make it into a gown. So it's just for you to have the concept of how to make that off shoulder part of it, and then the down part. Okay, so these are the measurements that we're going to be making use of. The bust measurement is 32, so you divide 32 into 4, we're going to have 8. And then the under bust measurement is 28, you divide into 4, you have 7. And then the waist measurement is 30, you divide into 4, you have 7.5. And then the shoulder is 13, and then the full length is 17. And then our bust point, that's our bust, is 10.5, and then the under bust is 13.5. So that's from shoulder to bust point is 10.5, and then from shoulder to under bust is 13.5. So these are the measurements that we're going to be making use of. This is the fabric that we're going to use to sew this dress. So we're going to draft it on a pattern paper, so we'll be able to manipulate it however we want before we transfer to the fabric. So if you are new to the channel, you are highly and very welcome. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Have I said that before? I think I've actually said that before. So subscribe to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Hit on the bell on the side to get an update whenever I upload a new video. And you can follow me on all of my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, all at Stylish Naija. And then if you want to register for our online classes, which we normally run monthly, you can see my number scrolling through the screen. Just send me a message on WhatsApp, and then I'll give you the details of the classes that we actually have available. Okay guys, so now let's start drafting. So just like I explained to you the measurement, the first thing we're going to do now, we're going to take out our bust span, which is our dart for the center, which is the nipple to nipple, is 8 inches. So you divide that into 2, you have 4 inches. So I'll mark all of the lines across my pattern. So this first line I have here is my shoulder line. This is my bust point line. This is my under bust, and then this is the waist line. So I'll connect that with a straight ruler. And then I'll take out my dart. So for the dart, I'm taking out 2.5 inches for my dart. So I'll take 1.5 to the right hand side. I'll come to my under bust point. I'll mark 1.5 here, and then I'll mark 1 inch on this left hand side, and then I'll connect it to the bust point like this. And then this one I'll connect to this point also. And then on the top part, that's the shoulder line, on the top right, I'll take 1 inch to the right hand side, and then I'll take 1/2 inch to my left hand side. So I'll connect these lines together again like this, and then this, I would connect this one to this point like this. Okay, so the next thing, so these lines, I'm just going to extend them to the down part. So for this down part, I'll go with the 1 inch on this side like this, and then on this other side also I'll drop with 1 inch also. And then the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to mark out our shoulder. So for the shoulder, like I told you initially, the shoulder is 13 inches. So you mark 6.5 here. So that's 6.5 here like that. And then I'll add just about 1 inch allowance on it. And then from this point, I'll mark my armhole, which is 8 inches. I'll connect it with a straight ruler like this. And then the next thing we're going to mark now is the bust. So the bust is 8 inches. So no, we've said that before. Now our measurement, you divide into 4, you have 8 inches. So I'm going to add about 3 inches for my allowance. So from this point like this, and then I'll come to the under bust part. The under bust is 7. I'll mark my 7 inches. I'll add this 1.5 inches back into my measurement, and then I'll add my stitching allowance. So for the stitching allowance, you can add how many inches you want to. 2 inches, 3 inches is okay, it's ideal. So I'll connect this line to this point like this, and then this one to this point. So I'll extend my allowance. So for the under bust line, I'm going to, for the under bust, we're using 7.5. So I'll take it like this. I'll mark the 7.5 here, and then remember our 2 inches. So I'll bring it back into my pattern, and then I'll add my stitching allowance, and then I would connect it like this. Okay. So the next thing now, we're going to cut out, we're going to mark, shape out the waist and then the top. So for the waist part, I'm going to come in just my under bust. I'll come down by 1 inch like this, and then from this point I'm going to make a defined curve into this part like this. So I'm just using broken lines first, and then I will mark it. Okay, so you can see what I have here for that sharp curve. Depends on how sharp you want it to be. So for this part, we're going to mark out our neckline. So for the neckline, I'm going to use, the width I'll use is 3.5 inches. So this is my 3.5 inches. And then for the depth, remember our 5 inches. So for the depth, I'm going to use about 7.5 inches. So this is 7.5 inches. So from this 7.5 inches, it is a sweetheart neckline. So I'm just going to do like a back flip into that neckline part like this. Do a back flip, and then from this point like this, I'm going to bring it down into my armhole point. So you can come down by 1.5 inches just to slope it into your armhole. So we're still going to tighten the bust here. So to tighten the bust, I'm going to take about half of an inch to this side, and then on this side also I'll take half of an inch. So you can do, for a bigger bust, you can do 1 inch. Okay, so now these new lines that I marked, I'm going to mark them. I'll connect them into this point now like this, and then I'll connect this one also into this part. So this is what we are going to cut out. So now with this, we have succeeded in tightening this chest part. Okay, so we have marked that out right now. So the next thing we're going to do now, so we are done, is for us to cut this out. So I'm going to place this on the back pattern, and then I'll cut out the back pattern. Okay, so for the back pattern, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this as the body frame for my back piece. So make sure you add your zipper allowance on the side, and then I'll cut it out. So for the back neckline, I'm just going to add a normal neckline to the back. So for the back neckline, what I will do, instead of, I use 7.5 inches for the front neckline, so the back I'll use 8 inches. So that's 8 inches. I'm just going to go ahead, I'll curve it into my armhole area, just like I did. I'll curve it into that part like that, and then I'll cut it out. So it depends on how you can make the back like a tube. That's what I mean, that you can just cut it off and make it like a tube. And then for the dart, I'm just going to add my regular dart, my regular waist dart to the back. And then I'll take out 1 inch for the dart. That's half of an inch on this side, and then half of an inch on this side. So this is what I'm trying to say. So that's for my back piece for the dart. So for the front piece now, we'll cut it out now. So cut the waist part first. So you can see what we have for our front piece. And then the next thing now is for us to transfer into our fabric, both for the front and the back piece. Okay, so I've finished transferring to my fabric, so I'll take them back to my machine now, and then I'll stitch. So I'll start from the top, and then I'll stitch it to the down. This is the front piece, and then the same thing with the back. I'll start from the top, I'll stitch it down, and then I'll join the back and the front together. So I'll just stitch it and then come back and show you how to join the back and the front together, and then we'll cut out the sleeves. Okay guys, so you can see I finished joining the top on the dart lines. So I almost burnt the fabric here. So I'll just, when I'm done, I'll cut out some and click and cover them all up. So the next thing now, I'm going to join the back and the front together on the side. So I'll use 1 inch allowance. So I've trimmed off the excess allowance. I have about 1 inch left. So I'll just use it, making sure that these parts like this, that they are fitted together, and then I'll join it and then come back and show you how we're going to cut out the sleeves for it. Okay guys, so you can see, so I finished stitching my dress together, so you can see it is looking beautiful. So the next thing now, we're going to cut out the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I'm just going to, first of all, I'm just going to make a straight strap of about 10 or 12 inches. So you can see what I have here. So I have about 12 inches. So I'm just going to cut it out straight. Okay, so you can see the strap. You put it on fold. So I have about 2 inches fold here. So you can see it is about 2 inches. So you put it on fold. It's about 10 inches, and then you fold it. And then this is going to be the strap for the sleeve. And then for the sleeve, for the cap sleeve, so I'm going to cut out a little cap sleeve of about 5 inches. So that 5 inches, what I'm going to do, I'll measure from this point like this. I have about 5 inches here, so I'll mark my 5 inches. I hope you can see, and then just make it curve down. Depends on how wide I want this down part to be. So this down part, you are going to use the round sleeve measurement. Depends on how grip you want it to grip the down part of your customer. So I have about 5 inches here. So I'm just going to create like a slope. Just create it. Depends on how big you create it. That is what will determine how the cup will be. So I'll just curve it out. So also depends on the pleats that you are going to pleat. That is what you are going to use to determine your measurement. So I have about 8.5 here. So this 8.5 now I'm going to pleat it. So when I'm fixing it here now, I'm just going to pleat it. I'll pleat it a little bit, and then I will fix it. So it depends on how much you pleat. You understand? So how much you pleat, that is what you see how it is looking like what we have on the picture. So you just pleat this top part, and then you stitch this point. Depends on if you want more strap to show, you can reduce the sleeve, the cup, you can reduce it more a little bit. So the next thing, I'm going to transfer this line to my fabric, and then I'll pleat it and then show you just as I explained right now. Okay, so you can see I've done my sleeve. So to fix it, I'm just going to use half of an inch here to fix it, and then I'll do the same thing to the back. And then for this inside, I'll use a bias to close it up, to give it a clean, or you can use an overlock to just weave it in. So I'll just finish up the second one, and then I'll place it on the mannequin for you to see how it looks like. Okay guys, so at the end of the day, so you can see how our top came out. So it actually came out fine. So you can see the strap, and then you can see the sleeve. If you want the sleeves to be longer, you can just increase the length. And then if you want to use this part to be higher, you can just increase it. Just follow the same way I made mine, and then you can do yours. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please, I would appreciate if you hit on the like button. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to Stylish Naija. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.